Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. I'm really excited. I've got Sal Cincotta. You guys should all know already. If you don't, you're in for a treat today. I want to start in today's call. We're gonna talk about how Sal is using Sticky Albums in his business. He's one of the industry leading experts on marketing and growing your business, and he's figured out. He was one of the first to figure out, let me put it that way, how to use this correctly in your business. We're going to dig all of that apart and share with you guys how you need to be using mobile apps in your business. But first stop and really say thank you to Sal. I started out as a portrait photographer myself. I was following some of his stuff and really have always been inspired by Sal's entrepreneurial spirit and just going after it. And I came up with my own solution to help my business, and right away I knew that this was bigger than just my own business and something I had to spread and share with other photographers. And I knew it was possible because I've seen other people do it like Sal. And when introducing a new product into a business, into an industry, it's really tricky. There was a lot of confusion. People didn't know how to use it yet. People get really afraid of digital. But it was Sal's mentorship along the way where as soon as you saw it, you were like, dude, this is how you use it. It's a pull through. You give it to them after the sale. And it was all of these things. When I go back and I talk to our very happiest customers, they are using it the way you've been teaching people how to use it on Creative Live and Shutter Mag and across the web. You've shown people how to use it well, and it's paid off. So that's a long thank you, but I really appreciate it.
No, and Nate, to your credit, it's one of those. I think you're spot on with. As photographers, as business people in general, we see all these tools out there in the marketplace, and they all sound nice. And I love going to trade shows as much as anybody. And when I get there, it's like Christmas. I just I want everything that's at every booth. And the guidance I give people is I will spend money on anything that I think can help me generate 7 to 10x what I paid for it. So, if I'm going to pay $1,000 for something, which is a big purchase, is it going to help me make $10,000? Right. And sometimes you've got to think that way. Not with everything, obviously. And with a product like this, it's a no-brainer, and that's what drew me into your product as well. But hey, I like your poster behind you, which just basically says it all, right? Get shit done.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. Enough said right there. Yeah, and I think that it's hustle. I think there's. What another thing that I loved about your education, my background is in, I worked for a software company also, so I saw some of that similarity, but more than anything, it's hustle. Like, that's the common denominator. A lot of people, and a lot of education, a lot of speakers out there in the industry like to fluff things up, like, here's all of these get-rich-quick things. It's like, no, dude, here's marketing tactics that you have to go do. Like, nobody's going to do this for you. You have to actually work. If you follow these steps.
It's an artist thing, though, isn't it? I mean,
yeah.
I think artists in general, we get so caught up in, and especially if we're talking about photography, we get caught up in like, well, my lighting's better, my posing's better, my editing is better. None of that shit matters at the end of the day, right? All that matters is does your client like your work? And so, from a business perspective, let's assume for a second we're all equal as artists, right? Even though I know that's not true, but let's just say all of us edit the same, pose the same, we're amazing photographers and all that stuff. Okay, great. Now what's the difference between you and your competitor down the street?
Totally.
And if there's no difference, you might as well close up shop now because it's over. There's no differentiating factor. And I think if you can, as an artist or as a business person, I should say, if you can change your mindset to think that way about everything, what am I going to do to outflank my competition today? Yeah. Not next week, not next month, not next year, today. What am I going to do to outflank them? Your business will grow exponentially. And the next thing you know, you're not following anybody. You're leading. All your competitors start following you. And that, to me, is the biggest compliment in the world. I don't get worked up when my competitors copy me. I just smile.
Yeah, totally. I always say, when people get so stressed about competition, I love, there's a saying, your competition can't beat you. The only person that can beat you is yourself.
True.
Right? It's like, you've got to always be changing because your competition is going to. And we loved it. The irony is that this is not technology disrupting everything. it doesn't matter what industry you're in. We're not the only ones that have to adapt and change so fast. This
Oh, exactly right.
This disruption's happening in every industry, and the ones that are surviving and thriving are the ones that are willing to take on the new challenge and keep hustling.
Well, I mean, the example I always use when you think about it, you know, and everybody can probably relate to it. Think about what the cassette tape did to the 8-track. Think about what the CD did to the cassette tape, and you know, VHS to Betamax. And it's like all these disruptors exist. The only difference I would say is the level of disruption today compared to just in my lifetime. This is what makes me feel old. But the level of disruption today is, you know, it's exponential compared to what it was. And that, when you talk about your pedigree, my pedigree, obviously I worked for Microsoft for 10 years. There were two mantras we had there, right? One was innovate or die, and you've got to continue to innovate, grow your business. And the second one was the only constant is change.
Yep.
And in our industry, not new photographers, I think the older photographers in business, 5, 6, 10 years, they hate change. And maybe that's a bad classification to say older photographers, because I'm an older photographer. I mean more along the lines, people who've been in business 7 years or more, let's say. You get comfortable, you get complacent, you don't want to change because you're comfortable. And as soon as that happens, as soon as you stop the willingness to change, your business starts going on the downslope. And I want to make sure I'm so conscious of that. With our business, we try to continuously push the limits and innovate.
You got to. Yeah, well said. All right, so let's shift into some of your slides here. So right away, when people are introducing a new digital product, there's a lot of people, it doesn't matter if you're a rookie or you've been doing this for 10 years, people are like, well, what do we, like, can't people just steal these images? And they get all nervous about it. And what you knew right away, and has been really effective as I've figured out which strategies are working the best, is it's saving for a pull-through product. So explain how you guys are doing that now.
Well, and what I want to do is step back to answer your question, because, right, you're spot on. Photographers are always worried about, well, they're going to steal your images. So everybody, look at me, make eye contact. They're stealing your images now. It's already happening. And so whether it's happening from a digital medium or they're taking pictures with their 80 megapixel camera phone, they are stealing your pictures today. The key is, moving forward, is that making sure you're getting paid, because once you get paid, if they want to go steal my images, they're going to find a way to do it anyway. And that's what you got to wrap your head around. And the minute you can accept that, everything else falls into place. So with that being said, you know, I look at a product like StickyAlbums, and it's that perfect pull-through product, right? You should not be offering this product as an a la carte item, so to speak. Now, it has to be on your price list. Everything you offer in your business has to have an associated price to establish value. What you price that at is totally up to you. So what I would do with something like a Sticky is it's $199, $299, right? Well, very similar to how we pitch Facebook. So a lot of my clients come in today, especially high school seniors and families, and all they seem to want is a Facebook posting. And so what we do is, on our price list, is we say, hey, Facebook posting is $75, which isn't expensive, nor do I want anybody to pay $75 for it, by the way. I just have to establish value. It's $75, and what we have in parentheses right next to it is we say, ordered pictures only. Here's the rub. If you didn't like it enough to order your pictures, I'm not going to post it to Facebook, right? Because we are a studio. We're making money by selling prints. You're never going to make a lot of money selling a CD of images, but we'll save that conversation for another day. But if you're a shoot and burner, you've got to think about changing your business model, because it just doesn't work. It's not scalable. So if you want to be poor, keep shooting and burning. If you want to make money, start adapting real business strategies and run your company like a real business. That being said, you know, you can do things for Sticky. You could say, hey, it's $99, ordered prints only. Okay, and then so the more prints they order, the more you're going to put in the album. Or you can even create bundled, right? So hey, if you're in our base package, you get a Sticky album with 10 images in it. If you're in our middle package, you get a Sticky album with 20 images. Top package with 30 images. So be creative. Don't get locked down into any one model, but just understand that this is a pull-through product.
Brilliant. Yeah, totally. I want to pull apart one key thing I think is really crucial, is establishing value. Is people get like, well, what do you sell these for? And I see the post on our Facebook wall, like, what are you guys selling these for? It's like, you don't want to sell it. You're just putting it up there. Put something. I've heard people do up to $500 because it established based on their prices. It makes sense. It aligns with their pricing, so that this is something that you don't want to sell it just that. You're in the business to sell artwork, right? But I think what happens, and you're seeing this more and more, is clients come in. Consumers are so short-sighted, and we're getting shorter-sighted. We think about tomorrow, maybe. Like, what do I want right now? I want shit to put on my phone, and I want shit to put on Facebook. And it's our jobs as professionals to fully service the client and educate them about the difference of, you know what, it's great to have something on Facebook, but aren't you going to want something like a printed album that's going to be around that you can give to your kids? Or,
that part is totally on us. I couldn't agree with you more.
Yep.
It's almost like there's a disease going through our industry right now where, there's certain components of our industry encouraging just this concept of just shooting and burning and handing over a CD. And I honestly don't blame photographers for that. It's easy. It's much easier.
Yep.
It would be much easier for me to say to a client, hey, give me X amount of dollars, whatever the dollars are, and here's what I'm going to give you in return. I'm going to give you this spindle of CDs. Here you go. Yeah, put it in a drawer. Maybe you print it, maybe you don't, and maybe in the next flood you lose that image, and 2 generations from now you have nothing to show anybody. Yeah. And I think about on my walls in my home, I've got pictures of my from me and my grandmother, me and my dad who's deceased, and how meaningful things are like that are. What do I have if I've got a CD that I've lost or just never done anything with, right?
Right.
That is on us as photographers to establish the value. But when I say that, I always think, well, what are people going to say to that? They're going to go, well, you don't understand, Sal. My clients want this, 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 and this. Exactly. And that's why I'm not saying you just do away with any sort of digital delivery. That's what Facebook is for. That's what sticky albums are for. That's what slideshows are for. These are the things you want to be delivering to your clients in addition to the printed product. And that's the key.
When you can, and like you said before, I get it too. I don't blame photographers. When I first got into the industry, I had spent several $1,000s on gear, and my wife's like, "What are you doing?" And so I'm like, "Well, I gotta justify this somehow." Like friends and family are like, "Oh, your pictures are great. You can go do portraits." So I'm like, "Oh, sweet. Now I can go justify this huge expense."
Right.
And how am I going to do this? Well, check it out. I've got a day job, and there's these proofing solutions. I can just sell my pictures online. Awesome. I can take the pictures during the evening, and then I'll put my stuff online, and it's just going to sell like crazy.
Yeah.
And it worked for me. Like, it's selling this aspiration, this dream that you can just put stuff online on a shelf and it's going to sell. And
then reality kicks in.
It's hard for people to come to that realization that it's just not going to happen. You're not going to. Then I started doing the math. Like, I can't quit my day job. People average orders are like $300 to $500. Like, I can't. That's not enough money unless I want to do like 80 shoots a week or something. It's not going to work.
Well, when you start figuring out, this is a good conversation to have, because a lot of photographers, even here locally, we've got photographers that'll shoot a wedding for $500 or $9.99, and they go, "Oh, you don't understand, man. That's $20 an hour. That's $60 an hour." But the truth is, it's really not. You've got to factor in a lot of other things that go into your cost, and that's, to me, the difference between making that turn from being an enthusiast, a hobbyist, to being a professional, right? It's not necessarily about the quality of your work. The quality of your work could be at a art professional photographer level.
Yep.
But if you're only making $400 off a wedding, or $500 off a wedding, I would not call that person a professional photographer. You've got to run it like you're running a business, and these are the kind of things you have to consider when you're growing your business. I look at something like Sticky Albums as when I look at it from an investment perspective, it's low investment, high yield.
Yep.
Right. So the payback, and this is how you guys, photographers, should be thinking about things like this. What's your payback on an investment like this? And I look at products like this as huge potential for payback, because it's pay once, earn many kind of situation. Whereas when I'm selling canvas, let's say, to a client. Don't get me wrong, I make money selling canvas, but every time I sell a canvas, I have to buy a canvas to sell it. So I like products like this that allow me to scale my business and, of course, differentiate my business from everybody else.
Right on. Yeah, totally. Right from the beginning, like people early on asked, like, Nate, can you just do like an a la carte model where I'm just starting out? Can I just do like $10 a sticky album? It's like, no, I don't want to do that. I want you to, I know it's hard for people who are just starting out, but you make a commitment to doing this for all of your customers and it scales perfectly. And then also nobody can come, your customers can't come to our website and be like, well, why would I pay you $300 when I can just go to Sticky Albums and build my own for $10? Like,
oh, without a doubt, right?
Right?
Yeah, the consumer can't have access to a technology like this. It creates chaos in the marketplace, which, by the way, photographers are already dealing with because we've got clients who think they can go to Walmart and buy a canvas for $19, and that looks as good as the canvas we're selling them.
Yeah,
so
totally.
yeah, we're already dealing with that.
Yeah, and I to your point, I priced it. I experimented with feedback from clients, and right about $224 for the year. If I can book you one new customer in a year, I believe I'm paying for that membership. And
I agree.
You can make as many as you want all year. And a lot of our customers are making 50 to 100 sticky albums a year, and if you were paying $10 per or $29 per, that adds up to a huge chunk of your revenue that I think should go in your pocket. All right, so let's move on to when people do come in asking for digitals. A lot of people are using this as an alternative. Like, explain that point.
Yeah, you've got to ask yourself when people come in just looking for negatives, and I want everybody to understand out there, I get asked that question just like you do. I have clients that come into our studio, they say they don't want prints, they don't want albums, they just want a CD of images. It is not an option out of our studio. And I think a lot of photographers struggle with that because they think they're going to lose business. The business you're going to lose is not the business, or the client, I should say, that you want moving forward. You should be looking for your client, and that's a client who sees your work as artwork. And my position is artwork doesn't come on a CD.
Right.
I want to deliver that, put it in their home, put it on their wall. However, I would not be a good business person if I didn't at least try to understand why do they want these digital files. And if you really start digging into this with your clients, it's usually for a few reasons. One, they want to share with friends and family, right? If they buy a print, they can't carry that print with them everywhere they go to show their friends and family. So they want to be able to share with friends and family, right? They want that social experience. They want to be able to put it out on Facebook, things like that. To me, Sticky solves that problem. Now, don't get me wrong, there's other things they want to do with them. Save the date cards, thank you cards, all things that you should be offering in your studio. And we do, because whatever they believe they need those negatives for, we produce that. So we don't just say, no, we don't do it. Hey, what are you looking to do with this? Here's how we can help you. Yep. But when it comes to social sharing, as far as I'm concerned, there's no better solution, because this product allows everybody in your circle to share, or in your client circle to share this product. Everybody's got an iPhone or some sort of mobile device. And I don't know about you guys out there, when I'm traveling, I don't even bring my camera equipment anymore unless I'm on a professional shoot. I'm shooting my iPhone. So I was in Paris recently. Dude, my camera was back at the hotel room, and everything I was doing was on my iPhone. And I think that's the future. People are mobile, and we've got to solve that problem. And to me, this is that perfect answer.
Awesome. I think that goes nextly into the next point. I've started Sticky Albums as a marketing tool first. And my background is in education and training, and I was putting training content on a mobile sales force onto mobile devices. And all of the industry in training was like, oh, great, the iPad mobile is going to be this awesome new thing for training. And there was these products that came to market. They would take a PowerPoint training that's like, anybody in corporate has sat through these terrible things, like 100 slides long.
Death by PowerPoint.
Exactly. And then there's like, just how do I export these to mobile? It's like, dude, no, that's not how people are using their phones. They're not going to sit on their phone for 2 hours and do training, right? It's got to be short and sweet and super fast. And a lot of our sales force, they would only do training on the airplane, so it had to work offline. So all of these things transferred perfectly to Sticky Albums, where people don't want to wait. when the real power, you talk about social media and all that stuff is great, and it's, and of course, built into our system. But what I believe is the most impactful way this works as a word of mouth marketing tool is people talking to each other in person. And in order for somebody to have to make this fit in the conversation, they can't go like, we've all seen people try like, oh wait, I'm going to show you this picture in my camera roll. One sec.
Oh, it's brutal, dude.
1 second. No, I got it right here. It's like, dude, no, it's not going to happen. You've got to tap it, and it's got to open within seconds so that it can be part, it can add to the conversation. And that's what I think is exciting about mobile. There's a lot of ways people are using it bad, and it gets in the way of us just being present with the people we care about. But what I really get excited about is seeing people at a restaurant like looking at it together. Like they're experiencing something together, which is really way more memorable, and those moments matter more than any individual like or share on Facebook. So that's my soapbox on that one.
Well, no, you're right though, and along those same lines are, you know, when you start thinking about how do my brides today share their pictures with their family, 9 out of 10 times they're sending that out via some sort of proofing site, okay? It doesn't matter what proofing site you're using. It's all the same stuff. At the end of the day, you're asking, think about your bride, let's say she had a 200 to 300 person wedding, and you want all those people to see your best images, right? Do you really want all your friends and family to see the pictures of you putting on your garter belt, to see the, like, not really, right? And we tested this out. We asked our brides these questions, and we saw they weren't sending the link to their proofing site to all their friends and family because they don't want all their friends and family to see every picture. They want them to see a subset. And I think this tool plays in that market, in that my bride can now pick 30, 40, 50 images, however many images you're going to let her pick. She's picking them. She's building her little album. She's sharing and propagating this out. And this is when it starts becoming, in my opinion, viral for your business. The marketing part of it is just huge. And it's not meant to be a proofing platform, right? The proofing platform is when my bride is picking pictures for her album, for her wall, and stuff like that. To me, this is all about like, boom, here's my top 40 pictures from my wedding. And everybody enjoys the best of the best.
I would argue even 20. I know it's hard as photographers, like we love, like what's the #1 rookie mistake I made too, is you put your portfolio on your website with like 100 images. Like, no, you've got your I found like the better the photographer is, in more well-known, like the fewer portfolio images they have on their website. Like you want people wanting more. Like that's a good thing. If somebody's looking at your portfolio or looking at, like, of course your bride or your high school senior is going to love looking through their 50 images, but they're not going to share them as much because even when there are 50 of them, there's a couple, like you said, they're like, I look fat in that picture. I don't like my smile in that picture. So I'm not going to send this to Sherry. Like, I don't want her to see this. But if it's 20 she's handpicked with you, that's another thing I've heard in some of the ambassadors I've talked to of Sticky Albums is sitting down at the order session and letting your client pick them. Because if they're like, yes, I want that, and I like this one good enough to order a print, and there's 20, 30 maybe, they're going to share that with more people because they helped build it, and they're going to be even more excited to share it. So awesome stuff. All right, so let's talk. That's the foundation, guys, and I want to pause and just say, if you're new to Sticky Albums, take these core things we just talked about. Let's review. So when you first start, go back to your past clients and pick your 10, 20 favorite clients from last year and surprise them with a small sticky album with 9 images and make one of them like a referral bonus or a print credit or something to boost word of mouth in your existing client base. Then when people start coming in, you wait for it. You save it to the end. Like you've told me before, Sal, it makes for a really good, it bridges the gap while people wait those 2 weeks, 3 weeks for your prints, right? They don't have to wait to share, get all excited. They leave your studio with something they can go talk about, and use your best images to make sure people will bring them up in conversation and share it with more people. And go ahead.
The way we talked about this in the past is what we like to do is after someone's wedding is we like to send them a little teaser of 10 or 15 images before they ever come in to see their picture. So we love doing that, again, as a teaser. And it just gets them excited about it. And then when they come in, you can upsell them to another 10 or 20 to add to their album as a pull-through into the packages. Now, that's obviously specifically for weddings.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. I've heard really cool stories of like these cool handwritten letters from brides to other Sticky Albums photographers. Like, oh my gosh, this is so great. I'm sitting on the balcony drinking champagne on our honeymoon, and we're flipping through our iPad with our picture. We had no idea we'd get to look at these.
Yeah, you don't even tell them. You just do it.
Yeah, that's the next level stuff you've got to be thinking about, you've got to be doing to set yourself apart. When you exceed expectations. I do this talk about nobody tells stories. Like you read any stuff from Seth Godin. Marketing is all about telling a story and letting your customers tell your story. People, when somebody's expectations are met, that's a boring story. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Great. Like, great. You made my steak. You cooked it how I wanted it to be cooked. I'm not telling anybody about it. It's good enough. All right. But guess when we really talk about it is when our expectations aren't met. That's why it's so important to do the extra work up front, setting expectations with the hope, because that's the only way, if you're managing expectations along the way, that you can exceed them. Because that's when you finally get people telling a story about you. It's worth telling, is when you go above and beyond what they were expecting to get. So I think that's a perfect way to do it. All right, so now let's switch gears into some more advanced. For people who have been using Sticky Albums for a year already, here's some new ideas for the next year that are really going to take it to the next level even more. So this portfolio on the website, what are you thinking about there, Sal?
Well, so here's what I want to talk about. I think there's a lot of people who follow our message, implement our message, and I'm always talking about innovate or die. And it's always interesting for me to see people are following us, and then they think, okay, here's what Sal's doing, and then they stop listening for some reason. I don't know what happens. But you have to understand that every year we're trying to kind of re-up the game and reinvent ourselves. And so that's what I want to share with everybody. Here's what we're looking at doing for 2014 using your technology. So first thing we're in the process of doing now, right? A lot of this stuff will happen come January. Portfolio on our website. So we have this portfolio on our website so that brides can see those images and scroll through them. But I'm realizing brides are very engaging creatures with their bridal parties, their girlfriends, their parents, and make collective decisions. They don't just make decisions in a vacuum. And so what I'm looking to do is I'm going to give my clients or potential clients the ability to download our portfolio from our website. So now my potential bride, she could be sitting there with her friends and family, and they're like, she can be like, here's who I'm thinking of using as my photographer. And as soon as she pulls that out on her iPhone, she doesn't have to log into the web. She doesn't have to wait for slow internet. She's now sharing with friends and family immediately. That alone is going to get a whole bunch of oohs and ahs from people. And that's what I'm banking on. It's once again, cost me nothing. It's just rethinking how I'm using existing technology.
That's smart. I dig it. Yeah, I think you're spot on. Especially, we're social creatures. We make decisions in a pack, right? We love getting feedback. Hey, I'm thinking of this. What do you think of that? That's really smart.
That's exactly right. Well, all I know is the other 2 or 3 photographers she might be thinking about aren't even in competition at that point, because she can't even get to those pictures. So those are the kind of things we're looking to do. Again, continue to grow and evolve our business. The other thing is bridal shows. Most people out there, if you're in the wedding business, we're going into bridal show season. So we're not going into high school seniors or families. And I'm not, maybe different parts of the country or world you are, but the reality is more engagements happen during the month of December than any other month of the year. January is when most bridal shows are there. Well, I'm going into this bridal show, and I want people to have the ability to download my portfolio right from the bridal show. And so we're working on some things behind the scenes. And Nate, you and I had a conversation earlier today where, wouldn't it be cool if I had a little iPad set up? We can say download our portfolio and show specials. Enter your name and email address, and just on a little iPad there, they hit enter, and immediately an email goes out to them, assuming you've got connectivity there. goes out to them, and now right on their phone they automatically have your app.
Yep.
Your business, everything you're doing is going to stand out from every other photographer and vendor, for that matter, at the bridal show.
Yep. People ask me why I named it Sticky Albums, and the first one was I like the book Made to Stick. It's a great marketing book everybody should read about having a memorable message. But the second is the way the icon sticks to the home screen. It's not in your inbox. It's not in an email I've saved somewhere. It's not a bookmark on my browser. It's an app on my home screen. That's the most valuable place you can be with how much people are on their phones.
And that button can be branded as well, which is even better. So it's as close as you're going to get to a real app for the price. I mean, you can go make your own app and you could pay 10 grand for it. But I like what you're doing much better. It's much more economical.
Right on. Yeah, simpler is usually better, because I think what's cool about mobile, and without going too far down the tangent about web design and app, everybody's very app crazy.
Right.
And there's this tendency to want to put so much shit into our website, like all these 10 different portfolios and stories about us, and it's like, no, dude, give your very best work and how to contact you, like those two things. Because most of your traffic, go check your Google Analytics today, your traffic that comes from mobile is only going to get higher. And people don't have time to sit and read your life story. They want to know, like, how do I get in contact with you, and give me an example of your best work. Yeah,
and I don't want to, I read Business Week a lot and just a lot of business material. And I'm almost positive about 6 months ago, I read a story that said Facebook mobile traffic had eclipsed Facebook via the computer about 6 months ago. I'm almost positive. I forget.
I read it too. It absolutely has. Do you know another interesting stat? Do you know what the most popular web browser is on iOS? Facebook's web browser.
No kidding.
The browser inside of the Facebook app. That gets more traffic than the native Safari browser.
That's really interesting. I didn't know that. And again, this is why as businesses we have to continue innovating and trying to be, I'm always trying to be where my clients are, not necessarily now. I think what we have to understand as business owners is I'm trying to anticipate where my clients are going to be 6 months, a year from now.
Yep.
And sometimes that means we have to be ahead of the curve and ready for it. And so those photographers who are out there who are not even current today, I always feel like they don't stand a chance catching up in a year. It's just impossible.
Totally. So let's pull apart the bridal show idea, because there's a lot of juice here, and it's a proven method that a handful of our customers are already using to great success. So when you are let's break out that interaction. You get very limited time with brides walking by, right? And what can you do? You can give them a great printed piece that just goes in their bag, right? And what are the odds of them going back? What's the incentive for them to follow up with you? I think you do some really good education on how you can close the deal in your booth, and huge incentives to book you in the booth. That's tremendous. For the rest of the people that aren't ready to decide, what can you give them as a takeaway that's really going to help you? And number one is, separate from what all of the things you're giving them, you want to be offering something so that you can get one important thing: their phone number or their email address. And they're not going to give it to you freely unless they're getting something that they think is worth getting. And so you can start simple with your own an app of your portfolio. Great. That'll work sometimes. But some people are like, no, thanks, right? But what if you do a little bit extra hustle? Like, it's going to take some actual work. You can't just do this in a day. You've got to go out to your existing relationships with other vendors. And last month's #1 most viewed Sticky album was an app out of Australia. A photographer went to 5 or 6 other wedding vendors and did a picture for them, created a coupon with a JPEG, said, here's save $500 off this, save $50 off of whatever, with the DJ, with the florist, the bridal shop, all of these things with great images, great coupons. Now, when you're offering a bride in exchange for their contact information, you're giving them a coupon book, a digital coupon app that's going to save them potentially $2 grand on their wedding. That's huge, right?
Exactly.
So I heard back from that photographer, and he said within a month, every vendor in that app has already booked, has already had one referral or more from using that. So a couple things that are huge on the app side. What's cool is not only you are sharing this app then when you partner with other vendors, all of those other vendors, they're sharing it too. So your work is getting promoted exponentially, growing your team, growing your resource with your network base. And then lastly, the point on email. If you can't close a deal, it's really hard to close a deal in person, like on first exposure, right? But if you can add them to your newsletter and send them a couple emails throughout the next month or a couple weeks, the odds of you closing the deal are much higher.
Well, it makes it easier to touch them, and and in a certain sense, they've opted in. But something else you kind of missed with the vendor idea is the value of strengthening the relationship between you and those vendors. And we kind of talked about vendors in this coupon book, together. But imagine creating an app for your vendor.
Right.
Take the coupon book.
This is a good follow-up. So like first project, let's make some distinction. The first project is making like a coupon book. But then once that's done, here's another way you can like really go above and beyond, because you and I both know that a lot of the best bridal shops, a lot of the best vendors, they're overwhelmed with rookies trying to do stuff for them, right? So how do you set yourself apart and actually offer something of value?
And this, guys, everybody always looks to us for answers on how do you do it? Think about this. I've shot at a local venue here. Obviously, I've been in business a number of years, but let's just take Hilton Hotels, downtown St. Louis. I've worked with them. I have a huge amount of pictures from them. Well, now what I can do is just create a sticky album dedicated to them. Of course, everything's branded. My logo's on the image. Hell, the last slide could even be photography courtesy of Salvatore Cincotta, right? So I'm getting brand recognition. But now I put a Hilton icon, right, for them. I create all this stuff custom. And now I go meet with the sales manager. And in that meeting, I pull out my phone and I say, hey, I want to show you something. Here's what I did for you. And I show this to her on my phone. I don't even tell her I'm going to do it. And then I plant that seed in her head. And you know what she's going to say? She's going to be like, ooh, can I get my hands on that? Absolutely. And now that sales manager is going to start using my tool to propagate out to her brides. And then, of course, she doesn't have to have a sticky account. I'm sharing this with her. I've created this app for her. And as she refreshes it, right, I'm going to be the one refreshing it for her. And guess what? The only pictures in there are going to be the ones that I've taken. So if she has a new setup she wants photographed, who do you think she's going to call? She's going to call me and say, hey, the room's set up for something. Would you mind sending your staff down, or can you come down and take that image? So I think that, as far as building vendor relationships,
huge,
priceless.
Huge, so priceless. I remember you've told these great stories where people will they'll call you and say, oh, I found out your picture. I saw your pictures at the Hilton. I want to book you for my wedding. Like, oh, congratulations, the Hilton's great. And they're like, yeah, we didn't decide to go there, but we liked your pictures.
It's exactly right. Yeah, they didn't even book the venue, but they had seen our pictures in their sales room. And, those kinds of leads, there's almost zero cost to them, but it's about the hustle. You've got to go out there and build these relationships with these venues. At the end of the day, the business we are in, business will always be people. You've got to be there in front of them, networking with them, building relationships. It is never going to be about just throwing your images online and hoping that you book business from it. It'll never happen.
Right. And thinking outside of the box, like you go to the sales manager at any big hotel, they've got a room full of prints from other photographers, right? That's been done. And if you're in a competitive market, that strategy's probably been done. What works when you're networking with other vendors is to start with what can you do for them, right? Everybody falls flat on their face when they start. They go, oh yeah, I got to go partner with vendors. All right. So then they start calling people and say, hey, I'm a photographer. Here's how you can help me. No, dude. It's got to be like, what
can I do for you?
Exactly. And this is different. This lets you stand apart for now. You be the first person in your market to do this because somebody else is going to beat you to it.
Innovate or die.
Exactly.
Right? I mean,
Yep.
you're like, you know, you're not thinking like this isn't the last step. This is just another step.
Yes.
And it's just like running a marathon. It's
Mm-hmm.
one foot in front of the other. And I think where people get overwhelmed is when they don't really run their business. The business runs them,
Mm-hmm.
and the next thing they know, they fall behind, and they're so overwhelmed because there's so much to do. And I think that's where everybody gets in trouble. So this, to me, is just the next logical progression of how we use this amazing tool.
Awesome. I dig it. Sal, another awesome session, man. Is there anything else you want to add? Otherwise, I'm going to wrap up. I think this was really good content.
No. Thank you so much, everybody, for your time. Thanks for watching this. And, you know, keep learning, keep innovating. As we go into December and January, you know, it's easy to just start getting sucked into eating lots of great holiday food and not focusing on your business. But now is the time to be investing in your business and thinking about 2014. Don't wait till June of 2014 to go, I'm not making any money. I'm not getting any, you know, referrals. The phone's not ringing. Now's the time to start thinking about that.
It is, totally. With it, when this video gets posted, guys, it'll be after Thanksgiving. I hope you guys had an awesome holiday. One new thing I'm doing when I end these videos, as a reward for those of you that have stuck through to the very end, send me an email, nate@StickyAlbums.com. Let me know what you liked about this video, what you learned, what we can do better, and I'll reply back with a special coupon code just for you. So thank you guys so much. Thank you, Sal. I really appreciate all your time and your mentorship. Have an awesome holiday. Take care.
You too, man. Thank you.
Cheers.